Hi, everyone. Welcome to the new moon in Capricorn collective reading. I'm here to offer a reading for the collective energies of this approaching new moon in Capricorn, which we arrive to on Sunday at 11:52 Pacific Coast time. So, depending on where you are in the world, it will be earlier or later for you, depending on what time zone you're in. But I wanted to really feel into what energies are surrounding this new moon, how to move through this weekend, how to approach ritualistically, and what would be supportive for our altars through this new moon. I already drew a spread, and I want to go through it and share with you what has come through. So I drew some theme cards. What is the energy? What's like the emotional temperature of this new moon? What's a resource for us? A path forward through the weekend, and then how to magically support ourselves, each other through this new moon in Capricorn. Our themes are the card and spell of adult from the living altar, the card of justice, trying to get it in focus, and the Four of Pentacles. So let's talk about the spell of adult. This feels so true for the new moon in Capricorn. Feels very Saturnian, where we're really being asked to evolve, to pass the test, to show up, to mature, to act differently, to do differently, to respond in new ways that are more aligned with our highest self and our most, like mature self, if you will. So I really sense this energy of like, there's something coming to fruition. There is like a bigger cycle that may be either closing or beginning for you. And, this, I'm really hearing the new moon in Capricorn is the test. It's like, how are you going to show up to this? How are you going to navigate this in your best values? We're really being asked to connect and take inventory of what we value through this new moon. When we are faced with injustice, when we're faced with witnessing injustice, how do we respond to that? And there's this, I think, on a collective level, a real call to get connected to what is truth and truthful for us, and how do we want to show up to this moment. We're in the face of witnessing the shadows of the systems in a really intense way. And I think about the archetype of Capricorn in the tarot is ruled by the devil. And the devil isn't a bad card, but it is a moment that when we come to that card, that we face the fears, that we face the shadow, where there's a sense of something being exposed. And so there's, pathways that we can choose through facing those shadows, that we get to find liberation, that we can support others' liberation, and to really break free of what has felt like bindings from the systems, from systemic oppression, where we can unravel and untether from those energies. So I feel this energy of justice so strongly through this new moon and through this moment that we're in. And we're really being asked with this Four of Pentacles to release control, to release scarcity too. I think about with like when we are all in survival mode, it's really difficult to um, make new choices around our activism, or make new choices around, seeing beyond what we have to do in the here and now. But I really sense with this energy, this new moon wants to support us in feeling really stabilized and feeling a sense of rooting and security, so that we can like respond in new ways, so that we can do differently, or make new choices within our communities and the realms of the work that we're in, and making impact and change where we can. So I really feel this very strongly through this new moon that we're really being asked to show up in a call to justice and a call to our truth. And what is a resource for us is choice. This makes so much sense. Like choice, the Six of Swords, our choice, our agency, our autonomy is like being uplifted. You know, where do we have choice? Where do we have autonomy? Where do we have agency? And getting to like, even when it feels like we don't have choices, getting to access new perspectives and see the new choices that can be created with even our own perspectives or our own consciousness. I think about the energy of choice is a transformation and it's a metamorphosis. So I really do sense like there's this in between, this liminality that we're in right now. And there's a lot of possibility in the liminal. There's a lot of movement in the liminal. And the Six of Swords can be this energy of like, we're in between worlds. We are in between worlds right now. And you're being really protected. Trust this process that you're being guided. So if you feel like you have left an old shore, if you've closed old doors, you know, and you're on your way to the new shore, you're on the way to accessing those new doors, let yourself, you know, really expand through this moment, even when it feels like there's constriction or restriction. Like, trust in this process because I really do sense like the resource is the void right now. The resource is that midnight hour, that like magic space that we get to really be resourced in. I think about when we're in the dark moon, it can be a time of like deep restoration. And we're currently in the dark moon right before the new moon arrives. So embrace this moment, embrace this weekend. We have a path forward this weekend. The first card is the card of strength. This is, you know, courage. This is overcoming challenge. This is overcoming shadow. We're really being asked to overcome something that has haunted us. And the lion represents that kind of wild beast. It has felt like it's overtaken or like that there isn't control over this energy, you know, in our lives. And trust that you have the courage, the strength, the willpower to overcome this, to like not necessarily cast it out, but to embrace it, to become allies with it. And there's this open heartedness of the card of strength. It's like getting to embrace the radiance of the heart and not hide anymore. It represents, it's ruled by Leo. You know, Leo doesn't hide. Leo shines so bright and wants to be center stage in the spotlight. So there's something that I really sense that through this weekend, let yourself be seen in, let yourself be witnessed in, even if it's just with a close friend or a loved one or a partner, let yourself be seen, let yourself be witnessed. We move this weekend into the Knight of Pentacles, which is intentional, slow movement forward. This is movement forward that is in integrity. This is saying, like, what is the next right step? What is the next right action? It can feel slower because we're not taking shortcuts. We're doing it in a pace that feels right. And I feel like the Knight of Pentacles is like, no, you can do this in a way that's like grounded, slow, intentional. We're really being asked to check all the boxes or like check all the you know, little corners of something. So trust in this slowness this weekend. You may feel called to slow down, to take a beat, to kind of double check something, to check in with another person. You know, I think like this really signifies like a slowness. And as we arrive to the new moon, we're met by the star. Venus moves into Aquarius this weekend at the new moon. So we have this beautiful Aquarian energy coming in, starting Sunday, which we will then be moving into an Aquarius stellium. And the stars, hope is faith, is like this return of a glimmer of a future that we are all creating together. So trust the gifts that are coming up, because there's something about your gift in this moment that we're in that wants to emerge. It wants to shine like the star. It wants to be part of the constellation and the fabric of our co-creative process that we're in. And trust that you are so supported. You're so supported by your ancestors. You are supported by the earth. You are supported by the stars. This is such a beautiful energy that we're moving into for the new moon. Embracing that Venusian energy as it is arriving in Aquarius, which allows there to be new perspectives, a different vantage point, a bit of a detachment, which sometimes is very helpful um, to access, a new perspective on something. So it gives us that emotional spaciousness in order to look at something through a different lens. To support our altars, to support our rituals this weekend, we have the card of abundance, Ace of Wands. To me, this Ace of Wands is like activism. It is like uprising. It is like community tending. I think of it as like lighting the fires. And so I feel like there may be something that you're called to do for collective support, magical kind of activism work. This is like taking up the torch. So that's something to think about through the weekend. This can also just be like very action oriented. We are in the dark moon until Sunday when the new moon arrives. So it might be just a time to like light a candle and rest a little. This can also be like creativity and expressing your creative inspiration through action or creation, channeling it through something, a vessel of something. We also have the card of abundance, which is very like harvest energy. It's, prosperity magic. So there may be something very, practical, especially with like Capricorn coming in around raising money for mutual aid, like raising funds. Like I'm kind of sensing like creating stability for yourself so that you can show up. This might even be like creating new structures or streams around, if you run a small business or have some sort of endeavor that you're creating that needs funding. So I would just say like working with the color green feels significant, working with fire, working with the earth, I'm like hearing oils, like anointing oils could be really helpful. And yeah, really meditating and asking like everything that you call in for yourself, asking it to be called in for community and collective as well. I'm very excited for this new moon, and please join me on Sunday for a group session. We'll dive in deeper to the energy of this new moon. I hope you'll have a very restful, restorative, and magical weekend, and I will see everyone soon.